Welcome back to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. This morning, our focus has been on positive neighborhood initiatives, and my next guest created a structured program for young men in his community that started in a neighborhood garden and grew from there. It's a pleasure to welcome back to our show Mr. Leigh Ellis, the team leader of We Got This Incorporated. Hi, Andre.
Hey, Andrea, what's happening?
Oh, a whole lot as far as you're concerned. So welcome back.
Thank you.
And the last time you were here, we had this conversation about you starting the community garden, which is very close to your home. And you hired one or two boys to work the garden, and give us an update.
Well, actually, the community garden was started by Dawn Powell and Myrna Winbush, two women that live in the area. And when I moved over there in November 2011, it wasn't doing much. And so we started working together, got a grant for the city, and the garden started developing. Last summer, We Got This was created when a young man on my block struggled with stealing cars and some bad habits, and just being real annoyed with the activity of the police and the relationship between young black males and the police, and the fact that the records were becoming so rapidly. I thought, 11 years old, so we got this.
Wow.
And went and got him, brought him to the garden, started working with him on a Saturday. The next Saturday, he came with more friends, and it grew from there. It
grew from there. And so by the end of last summer, how many young men were working and getting paid?
100.
100. It grew to 100
there
young
was
men.
The final Saturday, because how we pay the young men is really, really grassroots. I believe that people need to be taught to believe in themselves, because with labels and titles and categories, we no longer think we have control or power over our lives. And I'm here to tell you that you do. Even paying taxes, you got enough money to get rich.
I love it. So explain what the concept behind We Got This.
The concept behind We Got This is that we can no longer, as African, black people, accept that our victory is coming from somewhere other than us. It's right where we are. You're paying $900 a month for a 3-bedroom apartment or house on 9th and Ring. So are they in Wauwatosa. So are they in Shorewood. The taxes are the same. Clean up outside and look the same. All you do is take the trouble away. You be nice, and you got you a neighborhood.
Okay, I like that.
Sorry, I'm too passionate.
Well, no, and I love that
Let's
passion.
have some church then.
So there's a lot of positive that has come from this, because not only are these young men showing up and working in the garden, but they're learning how important it is to show up, because we talked about last time you were here, if they're late, then they don't work and they don't get paid. So they're learning life skills, and you've also brought the community into this with the help of social media. People donate money so that you're able to pay 100 young men for working.
Yeah, I was trying to do that, then I got happy, didn't I? But yeah, what we do is when we gather in the garden, we simply just, if we have 80 boys, and by 8 o'clock, because they have to be on time. Anyone late, I don't care what the excuse is, you got to go home and come back next week. But we just simply take a picture in the garden and we post it and ask that people stop by noon and help us pay the young men. And there was never a Saturday that we didn't reach our goal and then some.
Yeah. So you have community leaders and members who have become mentors to these young men. And so if you would name some of the people who have stepped up, and how are these young men working with their mentors?
You know, Alderman Willie Wade introduced me to an incredible person, and Coach Rob Jeter of the UWM men's basketball team here in Milwaukee. And Rob Jeter was one of the mentors at our Tuxedo dinner and walk in December. And he fell in love with the whole idea and volunteered his whole team to do community service. So this summer, the men's basketball team at UWM will be the counselors for the boys in the We Got This program.
I love that.
I put the post on Facebook. I asked for men to step forward within 2 hours. I asked for 50 men within 2 hours. 38 had stepped forward and responded. Within 2 weeks, the 50 were fulfilled. If you build it, they coming.
Yeah, I love it. And you did mention this Tuxedo event that happened in December, and it's what I describe as a chill bump effect, because you had business owners to come together to help make this all possible. So explain what happened, and we've got a couple of pictures that we'll show while you're telling us about it.
Okay. What happened with that is there was a couple of young men that saw me dressed up going out to eat with my wife, and they thought we were going to church. And I went, "We're going out to dinner, dressed up, Mr. Andre. Y'all, nobody dresses up to go to dinner. When we go to Pizza Hut or McDonald's, we don't dress up." So the whole time I was out at dinner, I was perturbed, I was bothered. I said, we got to do something. So I went down and talked to Lindsay, the manager there, if I could say her name.
Yeah.
Hey, Lindsay. And Carson is, and I said,
Carson's, I should say, the beautiful steakhouse right there in downtown Milwaukee.
Well, I said it like I go all the time.
Just want to clarify so people know exactly what you're talking about.
And I gave her my idea of a black tie dinner, putting the young men in tuxedos and having mentors bring them down, and they have a black tie dinner. Carson's went for it, and we were able to, and I didn't know what she was going to do when I said we need to shut the whole restaurant down for 2 hours. But she and the owner totally agreed, and it turned out to be a great relationship when we got those young men. We put a post on Facebook, said I needed mentors. I had 50 young men we want to take out for a steak dinner. We need men to step forward and rent the tuxedos. They came right away. It was men from every walk of life, every walk of life.
I love that. And on top of all the positive things you've already talked about, there's a Billboard campaign. So when people are driving around town, they can be on the lookout for this particular billboard, which I think is powerful because you talked about gathering in the garden and taking pictures. So you guys went from, was it
Boys in the hood to gentlemen on the town.
Yes, so there's a picture of the kids in their everyday, streetwear, what they would wear every day during the summer. And then there's a picture of them in their tuxedos,
How cool
and they
is that?
all look wonderful.
How cool. You ain't got to wait till you get married to wear a tuxedo. You just got to want to put one on and do what it takes.
So where can people look for the billboard?
Well, the billboard right now is situated on King Drive at Atkinson Avenue and Keith, that intersection, Port Washington, that intersection there. And the whole purpose of the billboard is that in a community where you label them as poor, which they are not, because I just pointed out to you, they pay the same amount of rent. They're not poor. That's just the category that they're in for budgetary reasons. The whole point of the billboard is that people walk around with their head on the ground so much, but the billboard makes you look up and see yourself in the air, because that's where your victory is.
Yeah, and you'll have so many other young people wanting to be a part of this. So I think that it's awesome what you're doing, and I think that it's fair to ask you, what do you have planned as we get closer to the summer months this year?
This summer we're going to do the program the same way, with the boys cleaning on Saturdays. We're not going to tell you when we're going to start because we don't want to be overwhelmed. You just have to holler when you're here.
Okay.
But we're going to also bring some other elements to the program. They've got 4 hours on Saturdays with the boys where they clean up the neighborhood, they learn gardening, but we're going to show that if you have a structured curriculum for young black boys for 4 hours, you can get their attention even if they're on medicine or whatever the case. All you got to do is provide stuff that they love and they can rise above.
Yeah, little birdie told me you were thinking about going skydiving. The boys are starting to challenge you now.
Well, not the real skydiving, not the plane in the sky, but more indoor skydiving.
Yeah.
And we were trying to get that done soon, but we're going to use that as an initiative to encourage them to do really good this summer. You want to do the skydiving? Then that's something to look forward to and work towards.
I love it all. And Andre, you just keep doing more and more to encourage everyone to get involved. And you really are showing us all what the true definition of community is.
Do I get to say one more thing?
You absolutely do.
There was a bank in town, a local bank. I can't say the name, but this got me so excited because I want my community to know that you can do it and that if you just will it, it will. There's a local bank in town that just recently called me, and I believe that we're going to be introducing these young men to financial literacy. How nice it would be that they get their $20 right there at 9th and Ring, and they can walk over to a little truck and put money in their bank account.
I love it, and you're going to have to come back and tell us about that as well. I appreciate everything you're doing, and keep on keeping on.
Blessings.
Andre Leigh Ellis is a community activist and team leader of We Got This Incorporated. A wise man once said, for every positive change you make in your life, something else also changes for the better. It creates a chain reaction. And that is going to do it for today's show. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. As always, I thank you for watching, and I hope you join us again next week as we take another look at our issues in Milwaukee. Have a great day.